First time I saw Reggie Ho, it was more of like, are you kidding me? Is he a football player?
Ready to spill out onto the field. Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
We played on national TV every week. People know Notre Dame. People are shooting for Notre Dame. The spotlight is on you.
Now here you are coming out for the field goal, this 5'5", 135-pound kicker.
Reggie Ho from Hawaii who will attempt this field goal. Well, I think he is 5'5".
Kind of became a folk hero.
I never expected Reggie Ho to become a folklore legend at Notre Dame.
You know, without him, and who knows what that season turns out to be.
I have nothing against Rudy. He's a fellow Notre Dame guy. But Reggie Ho deserves more than that. Reggie's a better story.
I don't like to show things. I'm not much of a showy kind of person, but so yeah. But maybe that's why I don't have much on my. I don't have my diplomas or anything like that. We're five. Oh, thanks. As it finally came when I had to make my decisions on what to do in life, I saw what my dad does and how he helps people. And he's an oncologist in Hawaii, and he works for the American Cancer Society. And I saw the same, calling to help other people and do what I can in the short time that the good Lord gives to me. Just a kid growing up in Hawaii, and I was a kicker on the high school football team, but I had no aspirations of kicking for Notre Dame. I just went to Notre Dame to study. My first year as a freshman, I did pretty well in terms of grades. Got to all A's except for an A-, but I didn't want to live my whole life just spending college in the library, so I decided I'd try out for something else.
He always talked about needing to be a well-rounded person, that he didn't want to be just known as a study geek, majoring in pre-med, becoming a doctor and all. So it's like, well, okay, at 5'5", 135, I guess I'll try out for football.
When I decided I wanted to walk onto the football team, not knowing what avenue to take, I decided I'd just go to the coach's office and ask to try out. And I first met the secretary. She kind of turned me away and said, the coaches are busy, and I could understand that. She said to come back another time. So I came back, literally like 3 or 4 times. And then I got an idea, maybe I'll just sit there and wait until I could get a chance to talk. So time was going by, and then the cleaning people started to come, started to clean the rug, and then out comes Coach Cordelli. He asked me why I'm here, and I asked him I want to try out, and he says, okay, so we have a tryout on this particular date.
First year he did not make it.
And there was a determined spirit. He one time told the story of he needed some practice after some studying to keep improving his kicking. They just decided to do it in the parking lot there.
I had to find a place that had lights, and the only place that was open that had lights available was the D parking lot.
They used like the light poles with the beam off, pretending that that's the upright.
I mean, it's clear he could practice for hours and hours, and he was just really precise. I remember it talks about tangents and arcs, kind of like a scientific study for him.
This is a workbook that I had when I was a student at Notre Dame, my kicking files and the physics of kicking. Part of it developed because number one, being kind of a smaller stature, I couldn't kick the ball as far as my other colleagues, so I would focus on trying to pull the ball. So when you pull the ball, like in soccer, you can kick it a little bit farther. I guess it was a way for me to be able to torque my body.
He wanted to be there to show people about his perseverance and how hard he's worked.
There'd be students coming back from the bars or something, walking across and looking at what I'm doing and maybe giggling or something.
The second year, I guess he worked very hard, came back, and you hate to turn the guy down twice.
Once I made the team, I'd go as far as it would take me.
It was a very positive asset. He kept quiet. That's a good asset with a kicker.
My junior year, I was not a starter, obviously, and Ted Grotto was a starter, so I got to suit up for the Navy game. We were winning pretty handedly, and we had just scored a touchdown, and then the next thing I heard, Lou Holtz, wanted me to kick the PAT.
Here's a chance to get Reggie Ho on the record, put him in. Probably never going to kick again.
It was very quiet, and all of a sudden everyone was clapping and cheering and everything. Had a nice snap and a nice hold, kicked it right through, and I fortunately made it. And that was one of the biggest moments of my time at Notre Dame, because I actually scored a point for Notre Dame. If my career ended right there, and died, and I'd be happy.
Going into '88, we didn't know who the kicker would be.
We had no kickers at all. John Carney, who was at Notre Dame, who ends up graduating, So who are we going to use next? Go and find Reggie Ho. Who's Reggie Ho? We don't know who he is.
Never did I think he would end up being our kicker. Never in the wildest dreams.
First game was against Michigan in prime time. Notre Dame, Michigan. Can't get much bigger than that.
Is ready to explode.
You put him in the biggest stage, national television.
He had to get his jersey, I think, in the bookstore. I don't know if the team had a jersey that fit him.
When you see him going out there with the rest of the behemoths, you're just wondering, is he the student manager or what's his role there?
I think a lot of people, if they were in that situation, if they shied away, they felt a little bit intimidated. I felt, I'm going to make this kick.
We could not make anything happen with our offense.
Plays perfect again.
We could never quite get in the end zone, and we called upon Reggie.
His third attempt is perfect.
Then you have to kick the game winner with 1 minute 13 seconds left.
It isn't very often that Notre Dame has turned its fate over to someone 5'4" and 135 pounds, a 26-yarder.
And he ended up kicking 4 for 4 field goals.
Reggie Ho was our savior that day.
4 field goals, tying a Notre Dame record.
If you said, Coach, to beat Michigan, you're going to have your place kicker kick 4 field goals. I said, well, we lose. But the guy was unbelievable. And he made every one of them right down the middle. Hey, God bless him. We won the game because of Reggie Ho.
This is the football that Coach Holtz gave to me in front of the team after the Michigan game.
Well, I had him stand up so they could see him. I mean, our player's a little bit taller than Reggie.
Right off the bat, he becomes a folk hero with that because of his size and the walk-on factor.
No, he had this little thing he did before he kicked.
The walk-off, a little different than what other people usually they walk off backward, but I was very systematic, so I walk off 2 and then 2 to the right and then make a curve. I guess it's kind of a awkward way of kicking, but as long as it works.
Jiggling the fingers there to get into the proper rhythm and all. And
I thought he was just waving off everyone like, hey, bag up, whatever, do what you got to do.
Now why my hands kept on moving, maybe it was just nervous energy, but it allowed me to relax and it allowed me to not focus on anything but the ball. Life got, obviously busier with the media, but I tried, to at least keep perspective and realize, where I came from. And you still have to do a lot of hard work.
And then after the game, here's this pre-med major, goes to the library to study.
Still had some time in the evening, so I would go to the library, and it's obviously tiring, but I'd do my best to try to catch up on the work I needed to do. And it's kind of hard because you see your friends who are out having a good time, but that was okay. That was what I wanted to do.
A lot of friends, he had a lot of opportunities. He could have gone to parties, he could have went to a variety of different things. But say life's a matter of choices. Wherever you are, good or bad, because of choices you make. Well, his choice wasn't did he not want to go to a party. He obviously did. His choice was, did he want to go to a party, did he want to become a doctor?
As the season progresses, he makes a couple of big field goals. So many times in Notre Dame legend or lore, it's the unlikely guy who comes out of nowhere to help a championship run, and I don't think anyone epitomized that better.
One thing we can always leave with, that we won a national championship team together. No one can ever take it away from us, but it wouldn't have happened if we had Reggie.
A national championship, no doubt. The Irish are number 1.
Coach Holtz, was a great coach. I remember after we won the national championship, what he said was, this is not the most important thing in your life. There's a lot of other things that's more important. God is important, your family is important. Remember that. And we just won the national championship. And for him to get up and say that, meant a lot.
I never felt I coached football. I felt I coached life. And I felt the same things that would enable them to be successful on the football field, would enable them to be successful in the classroom, in their profession, and in their personal life as well.
Why I chose cardiology is very interesting as an organ, what it does, and I have a focus specifically on electrical therapies of the heart. For my field, there's a lot of things that I can do from a surgical standpoint, so a pacemaker or defibrillator implantations, or from a catheter, and then it's also intellectually, very gratifying. Good. Hi, Jay.
Well, if you ask my opinion, I think Reggie is more of a celebrity in the world of academic medicine than he ever was as a college athlete. I know him more as an academician, someone to look up to, and then only since I've been here have I learned about his college exploits.
Thank you, Lois. My usual, that's my stethoscope. Okay. Great, thanks. Yes, thanks.
I'm Gary Rutledge. I live in New Jersey, about an hour and 20 minutes away. I was diagnosed with a heart problem, and I wanted to go to the best. It's amazing what Dr. Ho does.
Gary is a patient, and it turns out he also happens to be a great fan of Notre Dame.
I mean, I live, eat, and drink Notre Dame daily.
He came here for, help with his heart rhythm disorder and had a procedure done.
And to come here and have the problem that I had with my heart and have a representative, a graduate of Notre Dame, fix me, it just seems like it was to be.
Maybe the good Lord put us together to, help each other, and that's what makes you, want to be a physician and to help others so that you can make them better.
Nobody could be a bigger hero than Reggie Ho and his accomplishments, not just on the football field, but you look at being a doctor. Can you imagine playing football on a major level and still being a doctor?
The hard work he has put through while he was at school and the hard work that he's doing now, we can only applaud him. We can only say that I'm proud to be your brother.
So this a good friend, Pete Whitty, he was a manager on the Notre Dame football team, and saw him at the 25th reunion, and gave me this very heartwarming letter. It's just a very beautiful letter that he wrote. I thank him very much, and he addressed it not to me but to my kids as a kind of a keepsake for them, to let them know who their dad was in college.
Couple of things you should know about your father. First, your father worked as hard as any other student I knew at Notre Dame. From the day he arrived on campus, well before he became a famous football player, he knew that he wanted to become a doctor, and he worked tirelessly to achieve that goal. Second, your father is a true Notre Dame man. When he gives his word, it is golden. When he tells you something will happen, it will. And if someone truly needs help, your dad will give it. Third, and most importantly, he's a fantastic doctor. It has been my privilege to know him for almost 30 years, and I hope you know how lucky you are to have a father who is such a good man.